You're tuned into news across the galaxy, where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
Keep on nagging, guys. Ready, Chewy? Hey. Bang, bang, night again. Let's go. That's how we're going to start off the show. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Bryant, and per usual, next to me doing these type of shows is our very own Edgar Zuniga. How you doing, sir?
Man, I think I'm you can finally take me off life support. Like the past hour and a half has been something else, man. That's 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if my heart can take it.
2 weeks in a row. That's true. And what a comeback today.
Ooh.
But we're not here to talk about the Niners. We have a special guest, comedian, friend of the show, and one half of the Cooligans, Christian Polanco. How you doing, sir?
What's good? Well, good thing you brought me on because I'm here to talk about the Niners and the Niners only.
Well, that's
Okay. I know very little about this team, but I will pretend to be an expert if you need me to.
Well,
thank you guys for the invite. I appreciate
this show is all about feelings and no facts. So you are on the right show today, sir.
Bro, this is basically a Fox News broadcast. I love it.
Let's go. So one of the things that I was doing before we even got on, and it reminded me of this meme, that how do you know people in the club are old is when they raise their hands to dance to the music, raising the roof. So I was doing that before the show, and that just made me laugh. I don't know why that made me laugh. Anyway,
The roof is not going to raise itself.
the roof will not raise itself. See, come on. People know that. So we're going to start off with a video clip. We actually kind of mentioned it before coming on live, and it's been quite some time since that video clip. So if Chewy, you would do us the honor of playing said clip.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. Yeah. I have it right here. I'm just saying. Hopefully they're able to hear.
okay. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Three of us basically say we don't want to.
Oh,
Wait,
what?
the phone
We
lines
got
are
a
open?
call?
There you go. Oh shit!
I guess
didn't
we
even know
do.
The phone lines are open. Well, all right.
2, 1.
News across the galaxy. Who we talking to?
This is Christian Polanco from the Cooligans.
What's good, brother? What's going on,
What's
man?
good? I was just watching you guys talking David, and
What are your thoughts on Tevez? I mean, you said you were listening to him. I mean, you want him here? Nah. Yeah. Sure. Jersey sales.
I mean, it would be entertaining. Look, every time I watch LA Galaxy, I'm just like, yo, there's always a show every single time, and a signing like that would be more fun than anything. I don't know if it'll make the team. The team won't be worse. I'll tell you that much.
Well, spoiler alert. We didn't sign Tevez.
You know what? I couldn't hear it back, but I remember that I did call in. So please repeat what I said because I don't remember.
Well, it was about Tevez coming to the LA Galaxy and how that would be pretty good for the LA Galaxy, especially since this team likes to just pull any dramatic thing out of their hat. And it
Okay.
would have been good for the league. Now, we
And
got somebody better with Zlatan, but,
Yeah.
Tevez was
it
the
worked.
talk then.
It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I remember. What year was that? That had to be like 20, like 17 or 18, 19. Okay. I remember just being on Twitter, and I had interacted with you guys on Twitter, and I saw you guys were live. And there aren't too many, especially at the time, there weren't too many like MLS shows that you could just call into. And I was like, all right, I'm one of the 6 people in the East Coast that know something about the LA Galaxy. Let me call in and see what's going on.
And yeah, well, the point with this one was we didn't get that Argentine in this league, but we did get a bigger name in MLS. Lionel Messi. Who would have thought we would have had this man in this league, especially after winning the World Cup? What are your initial thoughts when that started spreading around?
I mean, so I work for, Meadowlark Media. So that's what the Cooligans is on Meadowlark Media, the Levitard, the Levitard show and Levitard and Friends Network. So one of the guys that is on the crew of Levitard show is Mike Ryan Ruiz. So Mike Ryan Ruiz is one of the few soccer fans in Miami, right, in the Levitard universe. So he had some connections to the people at Inter Miami, and he was reporting that Fabrizio Romano was constantly saying like, he's going back to PSG, he's going back to Barcelona. The likelihood of him going to Miami is not very high. And Mike Ryan Ruiz was the only one that was like, look, I know y'all love Fabrizio, he's your god, but trust me, it's not a done deal. There's still a strong chance that he's going to go to Miami. So that kind of kept my optimism high, before it was actually announced. And once it was announced, it was just, I think it's one of the greatest moments for American soccer history. And the only thing that rivals it is the arrival of Pelé to the NASL. It is, I've seen Messi play a couple times. I've seen him play. I saw him play his first game for PSG. Alexis and I, we went to Paris to watch that game. And there was an excitement, but they're not the same appreciation because PSG has seen superstars come through there, and they have Mbappe and they have Neymar. But when Messi playing in the U.S. is the fanfare. It is a circus. It is absolute madness, and it's only look. I know this might be his last year. I hope he plays a little bit longer, just so we get to reap the reward of, and maybe even more players also kind of making the jump like he did. So, but no, it's obviously just an incredible thing, and the fanfare around it is just it's awesome to see.
And to see this man go to a team that's connected to us in some way, with David Beckham being the owner of Miami, and he's bringing all the stars to MLS. They have Busquets, who's a World Cup winner. They have Messi, who's a World Cup winner. Was Jordi Alba part of that Spain team too that won the World Cup?
And that was in 2006? I don't think so, right? What year did they win? 2010.
2010.
10. Oh yeah, 2010.
So
2006 was Italy.
Yeah, so there's World Cup winners in that squad, and now you add on Suarez on top of that, and then they're just rounding out their team with the basic MLS salary rules with their DPs and their international slots and their TAM and GAM, JAM, whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Wham bam, thank you GAM. Let's go.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing is that we have, and this could be up for debate, the greatest footballer to ever exist is playing now in Major League Soccer. And I don't think people are appreciating that as much as they should, especially how MLS started and where it started from to where it is now. It's something that we should, the little things that we should appreciate. And so hopefully, like you said, he plays more than 1 year.
What we don't appreciate is damn ticket prices for those away games, bro. Those are crazy. We have to have some kind of respect for ourselves, right? We can't allow ourselves to be completely fleeced by Major League Soccer. I think it's his job is more than just to kick the ball around on the pitch. It is obviously to get butts in seats, to get more people aware of Major League Soccer. And one of the things I love is that he, especially during Leagues Cup, and that was just that was unbelievable, like all the kind of moments that he gave us. But you're gonna have hate. People just hate MLS because it's MLS. But the interesting thing is that what I hate is that there seems to be more disrespect towards MLS when players come to MLS, but when they go to the Saudi league, they're like, yo, this league is popping, it's about to be the future. And it's like, bro, are you out of your mind? Like, how are you gonna cape for the Saudi league when it is clear they barely have fans at the games? Yes, they are throwing money at players to try to bring them over, and it's almost a little bit, the Saudi league is feeling like they're there to do the Premier League a favor for financial fair play. Like, they're just like, oh, you're having trouble with your salaries? Like, yo, we'll take a couple players off your hands and fix that for you. So it's not the hate looks sillier when Messi's doing like unbelievable stuff and crazy free kicks, and you can't, the more we get we get players like Suarez, maybe Antoine Griezmann arrives because he said he wants to come to the league. More of those moves are going to make it feels sillier and sillier to be like, oh, MLS is a retirement league, or MLS is trash, or MLS defending this, and blah blah blah. It's catching up. I mean, let's be for real. Like, as far as the quality of the league, yeah, there's a couple teams that are just going to be bad and whatever. But for the most part, year after year, the quality of the players is getting better and better. Bigger names, bigger signings, bigger transfer fees, and who knows how far we are from like competing with like the likes of the Premier League. But it's definitely closer than it was a decade ago, for sure.
Yeah, at CR7. Edgar, you've been a little quiet over there. What's going on?
No, I'm just thinking about how, the whole journey for Messi to end up with, in Miami and MLS, and it's one of those things where like, it's late night and you turn on your FIFA and you're like, I'm gonna do something stupid, and you start moving transfers around and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna put Messi over here in Colorado, yeah. And you start playing and you're like, yeah, this is fun, but it'll never happen. And then all of a sudden it happens, and you're like, is this real life? Sorry, I have you have my kid in the background. Sorry.
Did he play the Galaxy? No, right?
He's played no, not yet, and not in MLS play, but we've seen him play at least a couple times that I can remember. Where like we play him in exhibition matches, so it's not the first time we've seen Messi live down here, but not in the competitive fashion. So that'll be something interesting. The big topic over here was, before it was announced that the game wasn't going to be at the Big, was, is Galaxy going to move this game to the Rose Bowl? Are they going to try and have it at SoFi? And in the end, the team, or I guess MLS decided, let's have it at the Dignity Health Sports Park. Have a nice condensed, crowd there, and showcase one of the league's, finer stadiums. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing is, I know for a fact that some fans, season ticket holders will probably put their ticket on, the secondary market.
Pay your mortgage for a couple months. Why not?
Yeah, you go. Or pay off your season tickets, in one fell swing. And and you know what? That's fine. Everybody, it's your season tickets. You can do whatever you want with them. So, yeah.
Why are you looking over your shoulder, bro? Who's trying to get your Messi ticket? No, and I agree. For me personally, though, I want to be at the stadium. I never got to see this man play live, and even if he's at the tail end of his career, it's still Lionel Messi, and he's, as a Barcelona fan, he's been a player I've watched since he came into the league, and now I get to watch him here at home. Of course, I'm not going to sell my ticket, even if it does buy me 5 houses or whatever they go for now. So, and speaking of Messi, he is going to have the most selling jerseys this season, I believe. And then, well, speaking of jerseys, there's been some jerseys that have been leaked. The LA Galaxy had theirs leaked. If you could pull some of those up, Chewy. And New York had theirs leaked as well. All right, guys, how are we feeling about this? Let's start with Christian and your guys' jersey. It's a black with orange and some blue.
It is it's similar to the inaugural away kit. So we haven't had a black kit since that year, and that has been one of the probably favorite kits of fans. Everybody's wanted. They're like, please do another black kit. And I love it. I mean, it's the colors of New York, the New York State flag, the orange and blue, and it looks a little bit. I mean, overall, this is a massive EA Sports L, bro. This is crazy. I cannot believe I play Ultimate Team all the time. I cannot believe that I've worked with a lot of different clubs in the league, and the people behind the scenes work so hard to make sure that these things do not get leaked. Most of the time, the reason they get leaked is because they start shipping them to stores, and then some rogue employee at a Foot Locker or whatever puts the jerseys out like on the floor when they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be kept in the stock room, and I cannot believe it's EA Sports that does this. Can you believe? I mean, they pay them so much money to be in the game and do this whole thing, and they have a partnership. Everybody's trying to grow the sport, and EA's like, nah, bro, we got to get the new fits into the game, bro. I don't even know. Deadlines? Nah, bro. Let's go.
It's like one of those Fight Club situations where you're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, and they said, fuck it, which is going to leak this shit out.
Damn.
Yeah, it is.
NDA never heard of it. Okay. Yes, DA. Let's go.
Yes,
It's interesting how this works out because I was watching the Charlotte the Charlotte City Fan TV podcast recently, and there was it was a day that the jerseys leaked, and they were like, man, I feel really bad for like the guys in the front office because they were trying really hard to make this a surprise, and they were like, we got something good for you, and then all of a sudden they leak, and they're like, surprise, it's done.
I mean, a couple of them look all right. I mean, the Charlotte one is like has a cool design, and so I like seeing like Adidas take a few chances. We saw some of the OG logo for the San Jose Earthquakes looks pretty dope. Orlando has like that OG logo and stuff like that. So it's nice to see taking the Adidas taking some chances and the club taking some chances, but it's tough. I mean, people put a lot of pressure on them. Everybody wants to have a dope kit, right? But the problem is Adidas is making kits for every single team. I mean, how many ideas that you think exist that are all gonna blow you away? I mean, some clubs are gonna have some good ones some years, and some clubs are gonna have a white T-shirt, bro, just a Fruit of the Loom white shirt. Buy it and be quiet. Stop complaining.
Oh, like that Galaxy jersey you have back there, that plain ass white Galaxy jersey you have back there.
Okay, it looked like somebody did a bad paint job. They were testing the swatches,
And this is the thing too. You could open it up to so many sponsors. Like in the '96, when the LA Galaxy had their Nike jerseys and they had their sponsor the Budweisers, those looked very unique, and to this day they're very classic looking. If you give each team their sponsors to get their kits, I think a lot of teams would have some very creative MLS kits and specific to MLS, and I think that's where MLS is kind of, I guess, messing up when it comes to the quote unquote fashion side of having an actual dope kit. I don't know how you feel about that, Edgar.
Look, I mean, as far as with sponsors, I mean, Herbalife has LA Galaxy in a chokehold, bro. They are not letting go. Herbalife, it's not even the Galaxy. They have the Latino community. We can't get away from it, bro. Everybody's involved selling something for Herbalife.
My tia selling me Herbalife, sending it to my tío.
There's only. I mean, I've been happy with NYCFC. I'm wearing one of the special third kits that they made, and this is the New York City, right? The New York City Parks edition of it. I forget where I think they have the New York City Parks logo somewhere. But we get as far as like in Premier League, every club gets 3 new kits every single year, and that's dope too. But that's also like mad overwhelming. I'm not buying 3 Everton kits every season. I mean, I'll see one. You know what I mean? I usually end up waiting till the end of the season where they're like absolutely fighting relegation, and it's like, yo, the discount is there. They're like, yo, please, we need to move these. They're stuck in the warehouse. We gotta get rid of them. So look, we get the occasional nice third kit. I don't know if LA Galaxy has many third kits or whatever, but the NYCFC occasionally has one. Then we also get the Adidas, the Parley kits, the ones that are like made of plastic and stuff like that. So I feel like there's enough variety. I mean, again, I think it's club to club. Some clubs are a little bit more ambitious than others, but you got to do what you got to do. I'm not a like obsessive jersey guy. Like if it's fine, if it looks all right, I mean, like, you know what, they tried. I'm like, I got to give credit where credit is due.
I think on the end is just the whole Herbalife logo.
Yeah,
and that's one of the biggest things. I mean, if you take that out and just put it like on the side and maybe put just Galaxy in the front, it would look so much cleaner, and it give us more reason to throw more money at those. I mean, we already do as it is, and this new leaked one is ugly, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy it. So it comes down to that. But if you just had like a Galaxy in the front with some ugly ass other colors, I wouldn't mind. It's just the urban life that kind of upsets me, my uncles, my cousins, and everybody else involved.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could switch it up. Yeah, because everybody has their own opinions about Herbalife. But, whatever. But you gotta make money. Somebody, paying Chicharito's salary ain't cheap. All right,
It's not.
They need those sponsors.
Edgar, why are you so quiet, Edgar?
No, I was just letting Christian talk. No, I'm a big kit guy. In fact, last year I ranked all the kits, all the new kits that came out. I had an article about it. And if you guys want to read it, it's still up. I can give you links. And I'm going to do the same thing again this year. And one of the things that I did was I asked different people from different clubs, podcasters to, talk about their kit and give me their input, and it helped me with the ranking. So I was really looking forward to this year's new set of kits. And I really, when it comes to this stuff, I really don't care about spoilers. So when I got up that morning and I turned on Twitter and I see like they're right there, I'm like, God damn it! Like I didn't want to see them, but I was like, now here they are. And
I mean, we can't judge too harshly, right? We're looking at basically a JPEG that's mad small from in a FIFA card. Like I'm sure they look better when we actually see them in person.
They probably look a lot better like once they're in person or on the field. I was looking at the Galaxy and people were immediately like, "Oh, what is this?" And I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what? I think it's gonna look really nice when you finally see it in person or on a player. So I'm reserving judgment. And at the same time, I'm waiting for them to be officially unveiled because there was always some funny story about this kid. Like, oh, this is, the walk your dog kit, and you wear this when you walk your dog so you don't get hit by a car.
This has a little dog poop on the jock tag, bro.
Perfect.
Wow, what a story.
And so go ahead, Edgar.
Oh, go on. No, I was gonna say I know that it's funny because like when I first saw the original NYCFC kits. By the way, can I call them the Pigeons? Because NYCFC, it sounds like a tongue twister. I love calling them the Pigeons.
I don't mind it. I mean, some people have an issue with it. They don't like that nickname. But some people are fine with it. We have one of our kits. I forgot which one. It might have been 2020 or 2021. Had a pigeon on it, and I was like, I'm cool with it. I mean, pigeons are dope.
Yeah, the pigeon with the red eye, the little robotic pigeon there. But the pigeons. I think the pigeons have always had some nice kits. At first, I was like, they look too much like Man City, obviously. But then, the club has done a really good job of embracing the city's culture, especially last season's new kit, the one that looks like those mosaics that you see at the subways. That's beautiful, man. People are like, no, it's ugly. I'm like, if you haven't been in New York and you haven't seen these mosaics, you can't really appreciate what this kit means. And I was like, I think it's beautiful. And I like that. I also like the fact that, they're embracing, the colors of the flag, bing bong, baby,
Yeah, it's I mean, especially with the rivalry with Red Bulls, it's the rivalry is not just on the pitch. There's a lot of competition to gain the attention of New Yorkers, and that's where a lot of people feel the Red Bulls have kind of dropped the ball in that they kind of maybe focus a lot more on New Jersey since they obviously play in New Jersey, but I think even from the design side from NYCFC, they pushed Red Bull to be like, all right, like this is where we're setting the bar. And then Red Bull just did their third kit was the hip hop kit, the graffiti. So they had like a graffiti kit, and that's like one of the few nods to New York that the very direct nods to New York that they've done in a while. So that's been a cool thing. Just to, one of my favorite things about just being an NYCFC fan is going to games, and like I'm Dominican, so Dominicanos is baseball, not really soccer, but
power, baby.
Exactly. So when I go to NYCFC games and there's other Dominicans there who support soccer, like we're a ostracized group within the Dominican community, but like there's a lot of people. Yankee Stadium is right in the Bronx. There's a lot of Dominicans there. There's a lot of Dominicans that like soccer, and I love the diversity of Latinos, and I'm sure it's that way at the Galaxy as well, where you have Mexicans, Guatemaltecos, Hondureños, everybody's from everywhere. And in for NYCFC fans, it's Colombians, it is Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, a lot of the Caribbean Hispanic people. So that's been a part of it too. They've really done a lot to connect with the community, the Hispanic community, the Black community. They just like really make a strong effort. And now that the new stadium is going to be in Queens, and Queens is literally one of the most diverse places in the world. There's something like I've always heard this like thing or stat of like Queens has the most languages spoken in the world. Like there's something like I don't know, like 300-400 languages spoken in Queens. So it's pretty remarkable. And then, that area is when NYCFC has games at Citi Field where the Mets play, it's a different crowd. It's majority Latino. It is now you're seeing there's more Mexican, there's more Colombian, and I think that's going to be the bedrock and foundation of the team going forward. I think it's going to look a little bit different in the identity, maybe even the players that we sign maybe we sign a Colombian so we can get a bunch of Colombians out there. So I'm excited about the future, but I love the fact that NYCFC kind of represents, what the entirety of what New York looks like.
So a couple questions for you. The first one is, what you mentioned about there being a different atmosphere at Citi Field and now, the new stadium. Does that also go in hand in hand, or is it parallel what happens in baseball with the Yankees crowd and the Mets crowd? Are we going to see a transition where a lot more people that live in that area are going to embrace the team, and there's going to be less of an influence from the other side?
That's interesting. Look, some people aren't happy that the stadium is in Queens. I mean, I know a lot of fans that live in the Bronx are like, bro, it was 2 train stops, and now I have to go all the way to Queens. So it's going to be, yes, I think it is going to be a little bit different. I mean, as far as the comparison to baseball, I mean, baseball just is seeped in so much more tradition and like parents passing down. If you're a Yankee fan, you pass that down to your kids or whatever. I'm a Mets fan, and not because I was like my brother was a big Mets fan, so that's kind of like my connection. But it's not like Yankees haven't had like prominent Dominican players or whatever. Like it's so yeah. I think it's gonna be a thing where it's gonna be like some growing pains of just people having to make a new commute. But overall, I think it's gonna be more people. I think the stadium's gonna be full every single time. I mean, that's the big issue with these baseball stadiums, that they're just too big. So NYCFC has some of we're like in the middle of the table as far as attendance numbers. We get pretty good attendance numbers, but you watch a game and it looks like nobody's there. But we have like 20,000, 25,000 people at games, but there's just so many empty seats. We're playing in a 60,000.
I mean, some of those views, right? Behind home plate, you're like, what the heck is going on over there?
So it's a thing where, I mean, even playing at baseball stadiums, I'm like, yeah, it's not ideal. And it's always annoying for the away team. But we win, especially that year we won MLS Cup, and I think the year before that. If you went to an NYCFC home game, you like more than probably 85% of the time, you saw them win. Not a draw, you saw them win. They just like, it's home field advantage. We complain all you want. Every team has like, they start like, they do the tweets where they like, I'm going to hit a home run at this soccer game and whatever. And then they lose. So have fun with your little tweets. So yeah, I'm hoping we get kind of back to that, but I'm really excited about the stadium. Yeah. I mean, I filled out the whole survey. We did a thing of like, where do you want to sit? What kind of concessions do you want? What do you prioritize? What do you want the supporter section to be like? And I'm like hype filling out this, like, it's like basically homework. It took me like an hour to fill out. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to be invested and involved in the building. If you're going to be lay down the bricks, I'll be there.
So the second part of my question was, how was New York City FC, the Pigeons, right, able to get the stadium? Because I know that real estate in New York is kind of hard to come by. I mean, look at the Brooklyn Dodgers weren't able to find something, and they were one of like the most beloved teams in the history of sports in America, and they ended up moving to LA. So we
were all there when the Brooklyn Dodgers were looking for their stadium. We all remember that 80 years ago.
Hell yeah, almost there. 80 years ago. So yeah, how did the team do it? Because I know it's hard to find real estate in New York,
Well,
and hold
I
on
don't
to
think
it.
I don't think you realize how much of a mogul I am and how much influence I have in New York. I just spoke to the mayor, the councilman.
It said,
No,
run
I
that
mean,
shit.
I'm like, what you? Okay, look, I say I grabbed a crisp $20 bill, put it in their shirt pocket, be like, hey, don't spend it all in one place, and then all of a sudden, we got a stadium. All right. I think, look, from what I know, and I've sort of left in the dark as much as most people, but from what I know, and from people that work at the club, I mean, since even before the club, kicked this first soccer ball, everybody was working on getting a stadium, and then Brad Sims, who's the CEO of the team now. I've known him for about 5 years, 6 years, and having conversations with him, it was like stadium, stadium, stadium. That's all they were working on. That's all they were focusing on. They were just trying to find the right people to who sort of believed in the project, and I think that's what took most of the time. So the Bloomberg, Mayor Bloomberg was who was the mayor when NYCFC was first started, and he said, yes, like, let's build a stadium, and it was going to be next to Yankee Stadium, where the old Yankee Stadium was. So right now it's just like a park and like 2 baseball fields, and people play there from time to time, but it's literally right next to Yankee Stadium. They were going to build it there. And Bloomberg was like, all right, cool, let's go, let's do it. And then the next mayor, I can't remember his name now, tall dude, whatever, he was, as soon as he got elected, he's like, nope, we're not doing any stadiums, we're not using any public money to do anything, and then that was basically it. It was just not a reality for the political nature, and like you said, real estate in New York, they were just not going to do it. And then Mayor Eric Adams, who was also in some hot water, but luckily he got the stadium through, and let him deal with whatever he has to deal with. But he has his own problems. But it was him. There's a city councilman, Francisco Moya in Queens, who's an NYCFC fan, and for a long time he's been pushing it at all the local meetings and everything. So there's been a lot of work from a lot of people, and I'm talking about obviously the bigger names of the people involved, but obviously the fans as well. I know personally a lot of supporters that would go to council meetings, that would really actively invested in being like I was watching live streams from like Bronx local city council meetings. I'm like, bro, I've never been this connected to politics in my life, because I wanted the stadium so bad. So it's just it's a lot of political pressure. Who knows if a couple palms got greased? I don't know. I'm just excited to support Rob, my team, in 2027 when the stadium is finished.
Yeah, see?
No more,
The
no more
$20
having to
in the
go to
pockets
Red Bull
work.
New York, right?
Okay, take that advice, all right?
Hey,
$20 in the
more
pockets
having to
works,
go down
guys.
to Jersey, right?
Did I get Edgar?
No more having to go down to Jersey for those games at Red Bull, right?
At Red Bull Arena, those are rough. I think this season we're not playing any games at Red Bull, or at least there's none scheduled. To my knowledge, it sometimes depends on the playoffs for the Mets and the Yankees, because sometimes we might have to play a game at Red Bull Arena. And those, the fans have been pretty. They have shown how they feel about it with their pockets. Those games are empty. Red Bull Arena, it looks worse than a Rebel game, bro. It is empty. It is. There might be sometimes like 3,000, 4,000 at the game, and the players feel it. They don't want to play there. The fans don't want to be there, and I'm hoping just to not have to do that as soon as possible.
Tell me if this is true. I've always heard it. Like, I heard it's a really nice stadium. It's just in a really bad location.
I don't know. It is a really nice stadium. I don't agree that it's in a really bad location. It used to be harder to get to. They built a train station, the New Jersey Path subway station, takes you directly there. It's like 25 minutes from like Manhattan, like basically like almost Times Square, like Herald Square. Doesn't take that long to get there. But there's sort of issues with like parking, like if getting out of like the parking lots it is a pain. So the experience, I would say, is not great. But I say that, but I've gone to Rebel Arena when there's like international matches. I've been there to see Costa Rica. I've been there to see the U.S. I've seen when it's a international game, like Honduras. Bro, it is packed. It is like Messi is playing. Nobody's complaining about it's tough to get to. Nobody's complaining about the parking. They're like, I'm there to see my team. I'm there to support my country. So that's the problem that Rebel have, is that they can't just connect with a large group of people for people to be like, yo, this is my team. I'm going to support them. They don't have that like to a really large degree, and it's a shame. I grew up going to like Metro Stars games, and that was like at Giant Stadium, the old Giant Stadium, and it's and it was like that. It was like 9,000 people in a 60,000 seat stadium. But when Red Bull Arena was built, it was exciting that it was like maybe now people would sort of take the team more seriously, and they just haven't. I can't explain why. I've even spoken to Rebel players directly, and they're like, I don't know why people don't come. Like we're trying our best out here, and maybe it's like they're not signing like big names. Maybe if they had like a Chicharito type figure, maybe they would like draw more attention, because I know they can, but the Red Bull philosophy and the ideologies that they have is like, that's why even Rebel fans are like, I've heard rumors that they're looking to sell the team. Like Red Bull, they're like, even fans are like, please, anybody else, just somebody that like desperately cares about this team, because a lot of fans don't feel that Red Bull, the brand, is like they don't really prioritize New York Red Bulls.
And it's not like they didn't have any big names. They had Titi Henry come play for them, and of course their all-time legend Juan Pablo Angel played for them. So
dude, yeah,
Rafa Marquez.
One of my best friends is Colombian, and he would, when times I used to go see Red Bull, it wasn't to go see Red Bull, it was to go see Juan Pablo Angel, and that was like the draw. But Red Bull haven't really done that in the last, since Henry. They haven't. I mean, I'm trying to think of like who. I mean, obviously bringing Emil Forsberg now is a big signing coming from RB Leipzig, but who you think? A bunch of Puerto Ricans in New Jersey know who Emil Forsberg is? They don't know. Like, it's not. That's not going to draw players. I mean, not going to draw fans necessarily. But the team might do better, and hopefully, I think the rivalry should be too strong. Having two strong teams in New York, I think, is a great thing. So it's not about just hating Red Bull, even though I don't want them to succeed. But it's disappointing that they don't have a bigger stronghold, and as far as like even in New Jersey, and just getting more fans there.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, because of course out on this side it's totally different, where we have such a strong history since the inception of MLS, and then the league kind of built off the success of the team on this side, which is the LA Galaxy, and now it's a whole different thing. And now you would want to see teams like the Red Bulls succeed, because they're one of the originals. Maybe different name, but like you said, Metro Stars. Those were one of the first teams that were here in MLS. But let's skip all that. Let's get into something about yourself. You mentioned that you were a Metro Stars fan. Before that, did you watch any other league besides MLS, or while watching the growth of MLS?
Yeah, first I wouldn't necessarily say I was a Metro Stars fan. I went to soccer games where the Metro Stars were playing, and that's as much as I think at the time I didn't really even understand about like being a supporter. I was just like, it was a thing to do, and I went because I used to work at a GameStop, and they were all soccer fans at this GameStop, and I was not. I'm more basketball and stuff like that. And the one thing is like I was good at FIFA, so that's how I knew all the players. I was very familiar with everything, but I just never really went to games. The first soccer game I ever went to was Real Madrid against Roma, and this was a friendly at Giant Stadium, and it was I got to see from Roma Gabriel Batistuta, and then on Real Madrid Luis Figo, Roberto Carlos, Zidane, just the Galacticos. It was just crazy, and that was my first game, and which was also a 0-0 draw, which was also a bummer. So I didn't get to see a goal. But the oh wait, what was the end of the question? You said
were you watching any other leagues?
Oh, any other league? No. So I really wasn't watching that much. I remember just like casually being surprised seeing like I would watch an MLS Cup final on ESPN or something. I'd be like, oh, this is on or whatever, and I'd be okay, cool. I'll just watch this. So I was familiar with the league, but it wasn't until about 2002, 2003 when Beckham came to the league. I went to 2 games that he played in. He played Metro Stars once. No. He played Red Bull twice, but one was at Giant Stadium and one was at Red Bull Arena. So I remember going to those games. And that kind of got me into just more the awareness more of the league, and then I would try to make sure to like watch occasionally from time to time. And then, but it really, I mean, again, like I said, I didn't really understand supporter culture because when NYCFC started in 2015, that's when I started, Alexis was the one who told me about the team. He's like, oh, they're starting a team. Do you want to get season tickets? And then I start being involved and start going to supporter events, going to games, and I see the dedication that all these people have of just like they're painting tifos, they're doing. I'm like, oh, nobody gets paid for this? What y'all just do this? And once I saw that, that's what really made me like fall in love with the game, because it wasn't just the game itself; it was like the community around it. I follow other sports, but there's nothing like the community around being a soccer supporter. It is. I haven't found it anywhere else. The closest I'm seeing it, honestly, right now, is in Serbian basketball. Have you seen those viral clips?
Yes, those are amazing.
Of the
I
players
love that.
And we had Larry Nance Jr. on the show. He's from the New Orleans Pelicans. Oh,
yes.
Is he? It's in the Cavs now. No, he's at the New Orleans Pelicans. And he, we were like talking to him about like, yo, have you seen these clips? Like in Serbia, it's crazy. Having all the flares and everything, and all the supporters chanting and stuff. And he's like, nah, bro, I can't play in that. I need an air conditioned environment where it's like, oh, I need to see Cardi B in the front row. I can't be playing with all these crazy fans. And that's something that you can't. That it's so priceless that it's so much for the supporters and it's so much for the fans, and as opposed to NBA, NHL, NFL, where it's just like a lot of normal people are priced out and they can't even really afford to go, and so it's that's why I appreciate about soccer. That I mean, I have friends that I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life that I met in the stands at NYCFC games. I had friends that I met in the stands that were at my wedding. Stuff like that is like just beautiful. So that's why I like really appreciate this team, because it 100% changed my life. I got invited on NAG, bro. It's crazy.
Let's go to our 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Shout out to all you guys.
No, it's really beautiful meeting all these people. I always talk about the community aspect of football culture, football and soccer, right? And how, for me, like going to a match, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go see a game, right? And Galaxy's gonna play somebody. But for me, like more than 50% or more than that of the experience is just going there and being with people that you really enjoy being around and sharing in this cultural phenomenon. And it changes every week. It's not like the same thing every week where like you guys get together and do this. No, every week is like a different thing. It's a different story. And it's a beautiful thing to watch unfold as the season progresses. But we're talking about beginnings, and I'm curious to know, how did you and Alexis meet, and how did you guys decide, hey, let's call ourselves the Cooligans and start this whole thing?
We met doing stand-up. I mean, I've been a professional stand-up for a long time. I mean, I started doing stand-up in like 2008. And I met Alexis in 2009, and then we there aren't many soccer fans that are like there's not a lot of comedians that are really into the sport, and we were one of the few that we connected over that. We did a I used to do a podcast where I used to talk to comedians about how they dealt with relationships, and then Alexis used to do a podcast where he would get a comedian's like joke, and then they would break it down, like what inspired the joke, and it ends up being like a really interesting 30-40 minute conversation about like one joke. And so we did a podcast where we did them like combined, and when we did that show, we were like, I was at Alexis's apartment, and he's like, "Oh, yo, let's play FIFA," and I just like waxed him in FIFA, embarrassed him. Like, he's like, I'm like, "Bro, I've been through this. You got to bring a little bit more." And that's when we really connected over talking about soccer. And then that's when 2015 happens. That I think we did that podcast in like 2013, and then 2015 rolls around. I was in the focus of like trying to be a writer. Like I wanted to write for SNL. Like that was always my dream. I wanted to write on either a late night show or something. And so I was actively doing that, like trying to submit for like Daily Show and Last Week Tonight, and that was my dream. And then but that wasn't working out. It was a grind. And then Alexis is the team starts. Alexis is like, "Yo, I want to do like soccer content. There's not really comedians doing this. Maybe it might be fun to do." And I was like, "Yo, I'm already doing this stuff. Like I'm writing, I'm filming stuff, I'm editing stuff. I was working on like a live show type thing, like a stage show." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll just do something. We'll do the same thing, but we just put soccer." And then it just kind of snowballed. And like first NYCFC fans, and then they're into it, and they're like listening, and we're getting like 200-300 downloads, and we're like, "Oh wow, people actually care about this." And then it's like, then we get like Atlanta United fans, and then we get like Galaxy fans, and when like Timbers fans are like, "Yo, I really love this show," and I'm like, "What? Why are people in Portland listen to this? It makes no sense." And then you start realizing like, yo, man, these people are deeply connected to their clubs, and that love for the club, they appreciate that comedians are talking about it, and they're not making fun of the league. It's not, we're laughing with you guys, not at you guys. And I think that's kind of what has resonated with people. But it's, again, it's allowed me to have a job that I never even envisioned was a career path to begin with.
And that's what's beautiful about the league too, that a lot of people from a lot of teams in the league tuned into you guys just because we feel connected just to MLS, not just to our team. But it's such a niche market here, especially because we're not the top sport in this country, that when you see somebody come over the show and talks about MLS and the way that you guys do it, it's like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And it brings everybody in the league together to just join into one thing and be like, "Oh, this is MLS."
Yeah, look. I'll be honest. It's not all love. Not everybody loves what we do.
Hey,
Some
but
people are like,
it's cool.
but like, no. Sometimes even that, when people hate what we do, I'm just like, "Yo, you know what? You're such a psycho that you love your club so much that you don't even want us making jokes about it." And like, we were in Seattle for the MLS Cup final when they won against Toronto. This was 2019, I think. I forgot what year exactly. And we had some friends that are Sounders supporters. So we're like, "Yo, let's go congratulate them after they won that." So we went into the supporter section, and we had our media credential, and we didn't even notice it at first, but there was like a sign that says "No media in the supporter section." We didn't think much of it. We're just like, "Oh, we're just literally gonna go say congratulations, dap up the homies, and then bounce." And we say hello to a few of our friends, and for real, I'm maybe exaggerating. There was two women that were behind the section that where our friends were, and started throwing water at us, like that, like holy water, like boom, get out of here. And at first we were just like, we thought people were like celebrating. I'm like, "Oh, they're throwing water." And then it was like by the third time we're like, "Yo, okay, why is it? It's literally only on us."
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, dude. And then so we see these, and it's like it wasn't even dudes. It was literally women, and we're just like, "All right, you clearly don't want us here. Fine." And then like the capo, another woman, came up to us and she was like, "You guys need to get the fuck out of here." And we're like, "All right. Like, I understand that you don't want us here, but we're not maniacs. We're not causing a stir. We're literally being polite to people." But that's, you know what? That taught me something that, you know, you hear about that in like Italy, right? You know, if you're a AC Milan fan and you're in the Inter Milan section or something, like, you know, people, they don't play around. That is seriously, you might get into a fight. So this was Seattle is a little bit more, you know, they're a little bit more tough than I thought. I'm gonna give them all the respect. They were just like, "Yo, you cannot be in here," and they, you know, not maybe less than politely were like, "Yo, y'all need to leave," and I have to respect it. I mean, like, that's their culture. We were in a place that we shouldn't have been, and so, and that's the thing, that some MLS clubs are like that. It's not all friendly, goody. So don't get it twisted, depending on what market you're going into.
Yeah, that's true.
You did that while holding a caramel latte, right?
Exactly. Okay, there was almond milk in that water, dog.
There you go. Right?
Damn, almond milk makes everyone crazy.
Go on, Brian.
Go ahead. I had something else. Go ahead.
No, I'm just wanted to mention real quick. So, you know, NYCFC getting ready for the new season. They're gonna be in Coachella, and they're gonna take on our LA Galaxy, which is still coming together like Voltron. So I'm just curious to know what you expect for this, you know, this little spring training for the Pigeons, and how do you think they're gonna do against Galaxy? And thirdly, what kind of expectations do you have for NYCFC this season?
I mean, so we'll start with the expectations just sort of this season. Honestly, my expectations are fairly low. I would say we had a pretty rough season last year. Just a lot of ruts that we just couldn't get out of, and missed the playoffs for the first time in like 7 years or something like that. So that was difficult. This season is. So last season was weird in that, like, our kind of like great players, like Maxi Morales getting injured and tearing his ACL was just devastating, and I think that was like a really difficult thing to recover from, and he's not going to be back until probably mid-season. I'm kind of clueless. I really don't know what to expect. I've heard of a couple other signings that should be coming through. So that I'm hopeful that there's just some like really good players kind of coming through. NYCFC is giving some of their younger players in this preseason more opportunities, but I don't think they're going to see that much time once the season rolls around. So I think it's going to be a bit of a challenging year. I hope it isn't, but there hasn't been that many moves that have told me, like, okay, this is good. Everything's going to change this year. I think that there's still a lot of new players still figuring each other out, and kind of cementing themselves with the club. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, hoping that we have just a better season than last year, because it really wasn't. It wasn't necessarily infuriating, but it just wasn't enough. They're very much underachieved this season. So, and then against LA Galaxy in the preseason, NYCFC has not been that impressive in preseason, and I would probably say the same for LA Galaxy. I don't know, I'm literally just seeing some of the results and stuff like that. But I don't, the NYCFC just played the Union in a preseason game. They were up 1-0 in the first half, and then lost, and they're losing 3-1. And this is how it's been. It's how it is in most of the preseason for NYCFC. We never really dominate. We never really go into it being like, oh, yo, we look sharp. Always takes a while, takes a couple weeks into the season for the team to like get its footing. And yeah, I just expect more of that. I wouldn't be surprised if NYCFC lose at Coachella. Okay, they can go do Molly to pass the time.
Perfect. Molly, who's that? Nah. All right, I know we have you for a limited time, Christian, and once again, thank you for joining us. But before you leave us, we have a question from a follower from Rambling Runoff. Why are you guys so gully?
Why are we so gully? I mean, it's the Brooklyn, it's the New York. It is just, getting water thrown at us in Seattle. It is just that's what we embody. Okay, I think it's Alexis is from Newark, New Jersey. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. A computer science major. There's I think there's something to that's what we've always tried to be, is just like authentically ourselves. But there's a lot of like the way we grew up, especially when it comes to soccer and being Caribbean Latinos in this soccer space. Even other Latinos are like, bro, ¿qué lo que tú haces aquí? Why are you here, bro? They're like, they don't even respect what we contribute. But I think it requires for us to do what we do, it requires a little bit of some confidence, but just the belief in like, we don't care what we're supposed to look like or be like. Alexis is Cuban, I'm Dominican, we're stand-up comedians. We're not former players, we're not journalists, and we found our way to kind of found our niche, found our place of people that like fuck with us and fine. And so that I think that's given me a lot of just like not only pride in what I do, but then also an appreciation for what you guys do, because it is people have been supporting and following this league, and then also creating content for around Major League Soccer for a long time, and a lot of time it's it's not, you're not making a ton of money. Not a lot of fanfare. It's a lot of passion projects, and that is the foundation of the league, and that's what people are going to appreciate in the future as the league grows and gets its stability. Because we see all the Arsenal fan TVs, we see Everton has Toffee TV, every club in England has like their supporter channel, and people are just like, all right. If Sky Sports is not going to talk about my team, I have a place that I can go to, and I have my community. So that's what we're trying to be. Just like we're trying to be the people who joke around. We're proper stand-up comics. We have stand-up comedians on our show all the time, and we don't pretend to be anything besides a comedy podcast that talks about soccer. We're not a soccer show that's occasionally funny. Our show is pretty stupid. We just happen to know a lot about the damn sport.
No, that's beautiful. And thank you, because what you provide in the MLS in general is something that we don't see on these big networks, where they're not really giving you the real, and they kind of tread around certain topics without saying, "Man, fuck that." They keep it PC. We don't. Yeah. Fuck that. All feelings, no facts.
That's how it should be. I mean, look, and I think that's the future of sports in general. I mean, like. Not to go on too long on this rant, but there was Dan Le Batard did a show. He does this like a show on Fridays where he like focuses on one guest, and they really talk about like their career and stuff. And he had Rachel Nichols on the show, and Rachel Nichols had the whole issue like with ESPN, and I don't know if you remember, she's an NBA analyst and host for a lot of NBA coverage on ESPN, but she mentioned something about that sports is becoming the last place where people commune, where like before like on-demand television, which is like Netflix and everything, where we could watch whatever we wanted at whatever time. It wasn't, people were used to watch shows at like 8 p.m. when it was on, and that's when you watched the show. And if you missed it, you missed it. You didn't watch the show. So live sports is one of the few things where people are actually, as a country, as a community, people are watching at the same time. But then because of that, sports is the only place where we're all discussing issues at the same time, whether it's politics, whether it's racial issues, like things like that. Because we used to do that during television shows when there was a dramatic thing on a show. The next day, it'd be like, "Yo, did you see MASH or whatever the damn show you were watching?" But sports is becoming more important to the live discourse, because Colin Kaepernick kneeling. That was like everybody was talking about it. And sports has such a strong effect on just us as a community and what we discuss. So we're all sort of becoming more and more significant to like people's daily lives and what they think about and talk about. So that's why this is it's almost because people are watching TV shows whenever they want. Sports is the only place where everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. And what we do is becoming a little bit more significant in people's lives. So that was the one thing I took away. I'm like, all right, this is, we might be talking about soccer a little bit, but there's a deeper aspect that's at hand. So sorry to get on my soapbox, but I just wanted to give you guys
because it's that barbershop talk that we do. So and that's really cool. Edgar, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, Christian. I've been very fortunate in the last over the past year and a half. I've been able to meet a lot of great podcasters from across MLS, and I always talk about how important it is to listen to those different voices and get different points of views from people, not just to learn about the teams, but just to hear these different voices and how people are so passionate about their teams and the sport, and they're trying so hard. They put so much work into it. I'm talking the guys from Chicago, Charlotte, Colorado, Atlanta. I could go down the list, all these amazing people that work hard. Even here in LA, we got Corner of the Galaxy, and we got Laguna Galaxiana, and Straight from the Stands. And there's so many amazing pods, right? They're working so hard. We got Eli also that's doing his thing. And everybody brings something different to the table. And there's wonderful conversation, right, where everybody is enjoying like this sumptuous meal around this table. It's a beautiful thing. And I always encourage them. I was like, you guys might not have a media path, but to me, you guys are like journalists, because you're all putting together like the tapestry of this league. People years from now might not want to sit down and read a book, but they'll sit there, and watch a video about somebody talking about what happened, this particular day on, about this team, and they're going to want to listen to the Cooligans, or they're going to want to listen to the Nag Boys, or, Scarves and Spikes down in Atlanta, or the Orlando City guys. So, hey, it's a beautiful thing, man. I always encourage these guys, go out and do it, keep doing it. And, if you need
know what it leads to.
Yeah. And if you need a refresher, you got all these other guys here that are doing it too. And, we got your back, man.
Yeah. I just want to, on a more serious note, but I just want to give a shout out. I don't know if you guys know, you guys remember On the Valley Apparel? I don't know if you know Elvis. The guy who created On the Valley Apparel. He's a Galaxy fan, and he created On the Valley Apparel. If you look it up, there's he did like old like Landon Donovan shirts and stuff like that. But he's definitely an OG of the team. But he has sadly been in a coma for several months, and I just wanted to I'm just praying for like a miracle. I hope for like a recovery. And so I don't know, there might be people listening or watching that heard of On the Valley Apparel, or maybe know Elvis Romero. But I'm just, when I think of the LA Galaxy, I do think of him. He's always somebody that always talked to me about the club, and when he used to go when he was a lot younger, just someone who really, really loves the Galaxy. So just hoping, and just, I don't know if I'm updating people who may or may not know him, but he is hopefully going to make a recovery. I'm just absolutely hoping for a miracle. I don't know anything more than that, but I'm just like praying and hoping he's going to be all right. So I just want to make sure I give a shout out.
Beautiful prayers out. Well, ladies and gentlemen who have tuned in with us, this is the end of our show. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in, and to everybody who sent questions. We will read those next time we go on live. And thank you once again, Christian, for joining us and for talking some shit with us, making people laugh, having a nice, beautiful Everton jersey behind you and a Galaxy one, we're linked there. And shout out to the Niners for giving me another heart attack today. And you're probably going to give me one at the Super Bowl. So hopefully not. And of course,
we're all rooting for Taylor Swift, right? Let's go.
Let's go. And so that does it from us today. From Edgar, Bryant, Christian, this is News Across the Galaxy.
Eddie.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way,
actually, link us to your stuff. My
give us
bad.
your socials, man.
To your socials.
Yeah, me. Oh yeah, at Soccer Cooligans on everything. Please listen to Cooligans podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm at Chris Polanco on Twitter and at Christian_Polanco on Instagram. Also do stand up as well. If you want to see a comedy show, follow me on my personal channels as well.
Ooh, will you ever come to LA and do a show?
I should. Yeah, I haven't been in a while, but the last what did I do in LA? The last one I did was at the Improv. Improv still around? Yeah,
Yeah,
still around.
Sunset. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So that was the last place I performed at, but I haven't been there in a while. But I'm next time I'm there, I'll make sure I hit you guys up.
All right, for Edgar, your socials, sir.
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Edgar Nags. Never to be confused with the man on the ones and twos. Well, one of the guys that's on the ones and twos. We have two of them today. Eddie.
You can follow me as Bryant Nags on Twitter/X and on Instagram. And before we get you to leave, Christian, could you just say one thing for us? This is News Across the Galaxy. Keep on nagging.
This is News Across the Galaxy. Keep on nagging.
There it is. Thank you so much.
Yeah!
Everybody, keep on nagging.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Keep on nagging.